explorer knows what he's looking for, coal. But what do you think explorers on Mars will be looking for? I wonder what Dr. Walker expected to find when he came through this area.
Well, since we're talking about coal camps and space camps, I bet he expected to find coal.
Actually, not really. I expected a land of opportunity, new places for people where they could settle and build homes and have gardens and plenty of game to use for food. And when I traveled through this region, I found even more than what I had first expected. I knew that people who moved into this section of the country wouldn't have to go hungry. In the forests there were deer, elk, bears, and buffalo, and in the rivers and streams there were plenty of perch, catfish, trout, carp, and others. But I also discovered some things that I didn't expect. I found small chunks of coal and saw that there were areas where seams of it went underground. And to be perfectly honest, at the time I really couldn't have predicted to you that coal would turn out to be the most important product in the area. Now on Mars, I know that you will find the Valles Marineris, or Mariner Valley, named after the Mariner space probes. This is a canyon that appears to be 10 times longer, 5 times deeper, and up to 20 times wider than our Grand Canyon. So that means that it is real big. As a matter of fact, if this canyon were on Earth, in the United States of America, it would go from New York City almost to Los Angeles, and there are places in it that are almost as deep as Mount Everest is high. Now that's a Grand Canyon. And that mega canyon, along with other channels that crisscross Mars, is all part of a system of old, dried-up riverbeds.
Just like Dr. Walker probably had no idea that he would discover coal and how important coal would become to this area, we have no idea about the minerals and ores that might be found in the Mariner Valley.
And if there are any that might be important in our future, right?
That's right.
It sounds like exploring Mars will be one big adventure.
Correct. And with any adventure, it takes a lot of preparation and a lot of hard work.
You said when Dr. Walker discovered coal, he probably had no idea about how important it would become. I know it's good for coal stoves, and it's used somehow in making electricity, but are there other ways that coal is used?
That's right. Coal is used in generating electricity. But did you know that coal tars are also used in the manufacturing of aspirin, powder to cure athlete's foot, and furniture polish?
Wow, I didn't know that.
And that's not all. Light coal oils are used in the production of nylons, tanning lotions, and even fingernail polish.
And my dad says that coal oils are used in motor fuels and plastics.
I have an uncle that works in a laboratory that develops things from coal products, and he says that they're also used in some synthetic vitamins and food preservatives.
He's correct. So see, children, even though there are some things that we can expect to see or find, like the ice caps, which will be important for water, or the Mariner Valley, which is the Grand Canyon of Mars, there'll be other things too.
Like what?
Well, limestone was discovered in Kentucky, mostly in the central part of the state.
What's limestone?
Limestone is a sedimentary rock that is formed from calcium.
What's it used for?
Limestone is utilized in the construction of buildings because it's pretty, durable, and resists the effects of weathering. But it's heavy and expensive, which restricts some of its use.
But at least it was discovered so that it could be used.
Good point. Now, just like coal and limestone were found in Kentucky, what other things might we expect to find either on a Mars mission or things that might be developed as a result of that mission?
Earlier you mentioned some of the coal byproducts that we use every day. I didn't expect that to happen when I discovered coal. And there are things that have spun off from the NASA program too. Just the Space Shuttle program alone has produced more than 100 technological spin-offs. These include the artificial heart that weighs less than 4 ounces and a bioreactor that assists in design of therapeutic drugs and antibodies. And I expect that we'll also find many technological developments from a Mars colonization mission.
Miss Rowe, I've heard that Mars is called the Red Planet. Do you expect we'll find out why it's called that?
Well, we already know why, but I expect the explorers will find out firsthand why, as they see that Mars is coated with rust.
Rust?
That's right. Iron oxide, which is iron, plus oxygen, that's what covers the surface of Mars.
Well, if it's iron plus oxygen, do you think we'll get the oxygen out so that we can use it for breathing?
Good question. I expect with that kind of thinking that you may well be one of the Mars colonists trying to figure that out.
Again, to reinforce what your teacher just said, some of you may actually be a part of those discoveries. Now, in digging coal in RJ and Bell County, Kentucky, for example, coal miners need to take core samples of the soil in order to find out what the different layers are like. You know how when you slice into a piece of cake, that slice that you pull out looks just like the rest of the cake? I guess in a way you could say that that slice of cake is a core sample. Now, on Mars, for example, the colonists up there are going to have to take core samples because they want to get down to the layer of ice that is water ice. See, because of all the carbon dioxide, then the surface layers are what we call dry ice. And they want to know when they get down to the water ice that can be used. And they'll also want to take some core samples of the surface of Mars. And I expect that it will not be anything like ours, your typical topsoil, subsoil, and bedrock.